everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name's Aubrey Weaver with Distributor Central, and I'll be facilitating today. DC's happy to have Instant's team, Matthew and Van, to teach us all about inflatable products. But before we get started, if you have any questions during the presentation, you can always type those into the GoToWebinar panel on your screen. It'll say questions. I'll be able to see those, and at the end of the call today, we'll be able to go back through and answer as many of those questions as possible. If we do not get to your question, don't worry, we'll be able to come back and follow up with you via email. Also, another really popular question during the webinar is if the webinar will be recorded. Yes, it will be recorded, and we will send you a link to that recording within 48 hours after the webinar itself. So that's always a super helpful resource to come back and look at later on. Okay, Matthew, are you ready to get started?
Absolutely. Thanks, Aubrey. Thanks for the intro, and thanks for having us today. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it's our second webinar with Distributor Central, and we had a successful one last year. So we're happy to be on this one this year again. And yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about inflatable, which is a very new trend. So my name is Matthew Hayod. I'm the CEO of Instant, and I'm here today with Van, who's one of our salesperson here, one of our top salesperson. So we've been working together now for about 2 to 3 years.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to speak about this really fun category.
Yes, so we're going to try to do a masterclass about inflatable and give you all our tips, tricks, and how to sell the product, how to promote the product, and what kind of service we can provide you and support you in those sales. So if you guys are ready, we're going to get that presentation going, and at the end, like Aubrey said, we'll go through some questions in the chat and try to answer as many questions as possible. All right, so inflatable products masterclass, new ways to increase your profit and shine. Before we get started into this, just a couple words about Instant. We're a family-owned business that was founded in France in 1997. Some of you guys already know us through another name, maybe Vitabri, because we do a lot of pop-up tents, and that's what we've been known for in 1997, and when we started here in California in 2010. So we're established here in California 2010. Usually it's sunny. Today is a great day for those who live nearby. We have 20+ years of experience in manufacturing promotional products. We attend a ton of trade shows. So you might have seen our booth at many of those occasions. And yeah, I mean, we work with all major organizations, so ASI, DC, and SAGE. About our product, this is our product line.
Yeah, so guys, really happy to be here. So we're a high-end manufacturer, and we specialize in commercial quality displays and tents. That's perfect to promote your business and create a really memorable and enjoyable experience. Here's just kind of like a mini recap, kind of showcasing our various solutions. We offer different structures, both small and large, as well as umbrellas, flags, inflatable furniture, and more. But yeah, so we're here today to talk about inflatables. So let's start. Let's talk about inflatables. So a really cool experience this year, Instant had the opportunity to join the Las Vegas PPAI show. And we really wanted to stand out, and we thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of showcase custom inflatables. We wanted to put that to the test, so that's what we did. We created our big tiki guy there. He stood about 16 foot tall, about 3 feet wide, and we showcased him at the product pavilion. The results were awesome. It was amazing. We also made his little brother, the little tiki guy. It definitely made a great impact. We had a lot of booth traffic. It was a great conversation starter. We had people that stopped by to talk about the custom inflatables. So the feedback was definitely positive, and we received a lot of sales from that. So overall, it was a great turnout. As I didn't see any other custom inflatables there, so we definitely stood out from the competition. So the Tiki guys will definitely be coming back on our next show.
All right, thanks, Tiki. He was our lucky charm. So why inflatables? So it is a new trend. Like I said, like those inflatables now are becoming more and more trendy. But for brands who are always looking for innovative solution, and it's great. So it can be inflated anywhere. You can use that for product launch, for trade shows, for grand opening. These, various shapes of custom replicas are very great and create an amazing visual impact. And what brands are looking for usually is an increase of their brand awareness or product awareness if they want to promote something. It attracts people, which is what really people are looking for. When you go to an event, or if you have one of those displays in front of your store, you want to attract people in, or if you go to a trade show, you want to attract leads. So you definitely, like Van said, stood out from competition by showing something like this, and you are able to create marketing and sales lead, which is what brands are usually looking for. Finally, it's an extremely safe product, reliable and easy to set up. I know for a lot of people, even if a display looks cool, sometimes it's a little like complicated to set up. An inflatable product, it's as easy as plugging a vacuum into the wall. You just plug it in and the blower starts and inflates it. So there's nothing else that needs to be done besides just securing it if you're using it outside. Before we look at exactly what we offer, I want to show you what we do not offer. So that way we don't mislead you, and you don't, if you have requests for those type of inflatables, just so you know, we don't do those. The ones we don't do is what we call in the industry floats, costume, heliums, ceiling hanging, point of purchase. Why don't we do those? Some company do, but why don't we do those? Is on the floats, there's a liability thing involved, and we don't want to do this. And it's a common question. Sometimes people ask, hey, can I use this inflatable in my swimming pool? And I say, no, that's not what you should do, and we don't want to take that risk. But we know some people will, so we want to stay away from any of those floats. We don't do the costume ones. We don't do the helium. Heliums it's another technology. We don't do those. And same thing, there's some safety concern with helium inflatables. And we also don't do what we call like ceiling hanging or point of purchase, because these are usually very low margin, high volume type of small inflatables, but it's not the product that we do. We do more premium products. On the bottom left of that slide, you do see like a little valve, like a mouth valve, and that's usually how those sometimes inflates, like those point of purchase ones. They inflate by mouth, and they're very weak in their construction. They're just almost like disposable type of display. So you use them once or twice, and then you're done. Here is, however, what we do offer. What we offer is arches, cans, bottles, product replicas, mascot, giant inflatables, sports tunnels, custom inflatables. You may think that some of those words, qualifies, let's say you can say, oh, a can is a product replica. Yes, but keep those words in mind, because these are keywords that are important. These are keywords that people are searching. So when they look for inflatables, they're not going to necessarily put like, sometimes they'll put cans, sometimes they'll put mascots, but they're not sometimes going to use, they're not always using like custom inflatables. They're going to be more specific about the product they're looking for. And these are the keywords that are mostly searched. So keep that in mind. And this is what we offer. Okay. And they're usually giant or big inflatables. There's one very important thing about what we offer is how do we inflate them. So this slide is important. There's a lot of information into it. I'm going to take a bit more time on that. That's a commonly asked question. It's how do you inflate your custom inflatable? So there's two ways to inflate them. One is with continuous air and the other one is with contained air. Continuous air means like there's always air running into it. You're usually familiar with, like, let's say a bouncing house at a birthday party. So a bouncing house has continuous air. There's a blower that's plugged in that requires power, and there's always air blowing into the display or the bouncing house. The contained air ones are the one that you inflate once and then they stay up because there's a bladder usually inside, or the seam or the construction of the inflatable is welded so the air don't escape. So it's important to understand continuous air versus contained air. The continuous air, they're also known as AKA cold air, constant air, or continuous air, and they do require a blower. That blower could be internal or external, and that's what you do see on the purple picture. You do see that it's an internal blower, or what you see on the bottom left photo, it's an external blower. So these are plugged in to 110 outlet, and they are constantly running air, sucking air from the outside, blowing it into the display. The pros of that is there's less risk of deflation. The reason is you're forcing more air into the display that air can escape. So even if you have a little pinhole in your display, there's always going to be enough air to support that and always keep it inflated. It's very easy to set up. You can do as many shapes as you want. You can be very, very crazy about the shapes you want, and they're usually less expensive. The cons of that is you need constant power. They're a bit more noisy because, of course, they need that blower to be constantly, operated, and the blower can be a little heavy, so you have a bit more weight to carry around. The other technology is what's called contained air. So it's also known as sealed air, airtight, or contained air. These are synonyms. So if you see those words, you know what they're looking for. These ones, to be inflated, they require a pump. There's different types of pump. There's like say the orange one, which is a 110 volt pump. There's some rechargeable pumps if you don't have power source near the place where you want to inflate those, and you can also use like a hand pump. It takes a bit more time, but it's possible. The pros of that is it's a one-time inflation. It's perfect for remote location because you don't need to run power all the time. You don't need to have a generator running, so it's easy. It's quiet and it's lightweight. And the cons of this, it's you cannot do as many complex shapes than the other one. The reason is inside those inflatables, you do have a bladder, and that bladder usually has a simple shape. Imagine like a tire, inner tube. It's pretty much just a tube that is inside that is like maintaining the air, but you cannot do very detailed shape with that. It's a little bit more expensive because you have that outside layer where the print is and the inside bladder. And if you need to repair them, if it's punctured, it's possible, but it's not. It will have to be repaired. So if you have a pinhole in it, it has to be repaired. We do provide patch for that. We can inspect them and repair them if needed. But if you do have a puncture, it does need to be repaired. It cannot be operated without proper seal. So that's the difference. Let's look at some videos here. I'm going to play that back and forth because sometimes the video plays. Let me see, maybe a couple of times. I want you guys to show. Okay, well, 3 of the videos are playing now. Let's see if the 4th one want to come. It's very, excuse me about that. Okay, we'll play 2. We knew that playing videos would be a little like complicated. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. At least it gives you a feel like you can see 2 right now. A custom valve sign, a custom bulb, and we also did. Well, the arch is not coming up, but you'll see at the end. These are the 4 projects. Like one is a custom inflatable valve sign, a custom bulb, and some arches that were set up. So just to give you a feel for it. So to sell an inflatable, you need to understand your customer need and you need to ask them some information. So it's very important in your discovery call to gather as much information as possible to guide your clients, because sometimes they have an idea, but you also need to guide them towards like a solution. That's your job. So some of the questions you can ask, and which will also ask you. So if you contact us and say, hey, I need an inflatable for my client, okay, what questions are we going to ask you, and what questions should you have asked your client? So one of the questions is, what are they going to use it for? Where are they going to use it for? Approximately, what are the overall dimensions, length, width, depth? It's important because now you're talking with a three-dimensional product. So you have to understand that because you make it more or less stable. How complex are the shapes? So do you have a drawing? Do you have an image that you can share? What kind of product you're trying to achieve? Because sometimes they're going to send you a logo and they're going to say, oh, I just need, we had the example the other day, oh, I just need the logo to be on a bottle. Okay, so we put it on a bottle, but then the bottle that they have in mind turns out to be a very specific bottle. So it's not the logo that is complex, it's the shape that we're trying to achieve that is complex. So we need to understand the shape of the product. Are they going to have power on site? And that refers to that previous slide. Do they need, continuous air, or is it going to be sealed air? How often are they going to use it? If it's something that's going to be used and reused at event, maybe the durability, and maybe something that has, a cold air where you have continuous air running into it is an important thing to suggest, because that puncture are less likely to happen with these ones. How many hours a day are they going to be running it? Is noise a concern? We had the other day, same thing, a distributor was asking us, hey, you know what, my client's going to use that at trade shows. They're afraid about the noise that's going to make, because when they're going to be at a trade show floor, they're going to hear the noise of the fan and they want to be able to talk with their client. So you may want to lean towards like a sealed air one. Will there be operators, staff event next to inflatable? Well, that refers back to safety. We always want to make sure that if you have something like that constantly running on power, you either shutting it down in the evening or you're making sure that somebody's next to it so it doesn't stay unattended. And how soon do they need it? Okay, it's important to understand that, because the more complex the product is, the longer it will take. Between design revision, 3D mockup that we're going to make, and you'll see that in the next slide, it's important that we're able to make the product on time for them. So the project understanding and the consultation is very, very important. Sometimes, and that comes from a distributor, you're going to be lucky because they're going to come up to you and say, hey, here's the concept, here's what we need. I need like those inflatable half arches and I need some inflatable towers. That's the 3D mock-up of what we envision. So that's super easy, because we can then, by the proportion, by the mock-up, we can then relay that to our design team, our engineering team, and create the shapes that they want. So if a client is providing you something like this, this is amazing, because pretty much they're telling you exactly what they want and you understand it right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit more longer to understand what they want and it's a bit more complex. We're going to show you an example where we worked longer time with that project. So it's called the Habitat, and Van's going to talk to you about it.
Yeah, so this was a pretty cool, unique project. I personally worked with the distributor on this deal. So this is an inflatable house slash ark. It was set up in the front of the event site and was used as an entryway into the event. The distributor was new to the product category and never sold inflatables. So we worked very, very closely with her to ensure sizing and specs were accurate. So as you can see there, there's like kind of like a rough sketch of the concept. During the design consultation, they expressed two functionalities. They wanted to make sure that the door was wide enough for families to walk through comfortably, and they also wanted the windows to be positioned properly for photo ops. So kind of after looking at the specs, we realized that the ratios were not accurate. So our design team came up with a blueprint, made sure all of the specs met the client's needs and the functionality for the product. So what we did is we widened the door for them. We opened up the windows. So the windows were see-through. You have the window sills there. We just put like pieces of fabric there. So that part wasn't inflatable. That just created more of a realistic house look. So after the blueprint is signed off, the next phase is basically the 3D virtuals. And this is where we kind of see the the project come to life. On this next page here, whoops, wrong way. Here you can see different screenshots of the 3D virtual. On the front of the Arc, we have the two helmets. On the back, we just had a really simple, clean design with the logo there. And next, here's the end result. So you see lots of smiles there. Both marketing bar and the end user was very, very pleased with the results. And this definitely was a successful project.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Dan worked hard on this project. It was a really good one. There's even like a little add-on where they added those tiles or shingles on the roof at the last minute. But what's important here is like you may see, oh, that is a complex project. How do I do something like this? And this is where we first want to tell you, you can count on us, you can count on our support. If I go back real quick on the slides, this first slide here, all we were given is what you see on the left, that rough sketch. The rest is done by us. So trust us on doing and helping you with the 3D. Trust us on doing some additional work on the specs, on making sure that the proportions are right. So we'll do all of that for you. So you don't have to be a master in 3D modelings and stuff like this. We'll do it for you, and this is what we can achieve. This was an amazing project, so thank you for working on this. I just want to share with you a few more projects as well we've worked on. This is a more traditional shape of an inflatable can. We were only provided what you see at the top, which is like packaging specs, and they wanted to do inflatable cans. So that's the final project. The can is on the very back on the far right, behind the guys who are celebrating. There was also like inflatable domes and flags that were made. But just so you know, yeah, I mean, we do create those mock-up, and you can count on us to create those types of rendering. So again, use our services to get that design, because these are a very important part of the selling process. We understand that a client is going to have a hard time to envision his inflatable until he sees it in 3D. So again, this example is we were only provided that earth bath flat drawings, and we came up with that earth concept. A bottle here, you have the flat on the left, you have the 3D on the right. It is very appealing to see a 3D like this, and it helps you to close your project. This is a known brand, and you do see again like a flat of it that was provided, and then all those 3Ds were made. So that's what we're trying to do for you. We design, we make the 3D, we check the proportion, because there's things you do see on a flat, but there's things that you do not. So you have to put it in a perspective, in 3D perspective, to understand all the angles and all that stuff. Another one, very good one, kangaroo, complex shape. That takes time, but again, just for you to see, it's pretty cool to see going from just an image to a 3D to a real product. Clients are super happy with that. This is a more traditional shape. The arch, you do see that, you're pretty, I'm sure, used to it if you worked on racing event. It could be a run, or it could be a race. So arch is our traditional shaped inflatables. This one is interesting, and that's one option I just want to show you here, is what we call like the wraparound legs. So the two image on the left shows you the actual arch. So you do see that the legs are blank. I mean, it's black. And then we did two wraparound. That's right. We did one. So there's one wraparound cover, so they can change the sponsor as they need to. So we put Velcro on the arch itself, and then we do wraparound banners. And when they need to change sponsor, when they need to change event, they just order a new banner without having to change the entire art. So again, that's one very good option with inflatable, is changing the branding in an easy way. I want to share with you now a long success story, and that was a very cool concept and very nice project. We were in touch with an agency here that is working for that event, Rock and Roll Running Series. They first give us that image and they told us, hey, look guys, you see those arches at the beginning of events? It's made of with truss. It's very heavy duty. It's very complex. It takes a lot of time to set up. We want to recreate that into an inflatable because we want to have some, other event where we use that and where we setting those quicker. So we were given that image. From this image, they say, okay, you need to create a 3D mockup. So we worked with flats, 3D renderings. Again, we support you with this. We created a 3D, and as you can see again on this arch, there's two interesting pieces here. One is the three-dimensional piece that is on the top beam where you see the rock and roll logo. So that was an add-on to a traditional arch. And there's also all those Velcro locations. And that allows them to use and reuse those arches at different events and change the location, change the sponsor, and do all that. So we did those two arches, went through a bunch of 3D modelings. You can see the product here. But most importantly, after doing this, they added other products. So it was a very good success story because that arch was the first step, and then they added like a tunnel. So we did a tunnel with an inflatable blower on the outside and logos, all over. 3D again, 3D to rendering, and 3D to real photo. And from that photo,
welcome to the expo. Fog machine, baby. Are you ready for the fun?
So I'm not going to play the sound from that video, but you can see the actual tunnel being used, and this is the video from their website. For this project, not only we've done the tunnel, but there was a ton of display we did with this series, like backdrops, photo op, 3D letterings, we did those pop-up display walls, we did flags. So it was amazing because a ton of promotional products were done for this project, including inflatable. You can see those towers outside. So that was a very, very good project. And that was the video, the beginning of the video with the inflatable tunnel. I also want to remind you so that we do traditional shape inflatables like towers. This is a very traditional shape. It could be used for mile markers at racing events, but it's also here to promote anything you want. This is different than a denser or wing denser man. It's not that. It's not moving, it's static. So once you inflate it, it stays upright and you put whatever you want on it. You can see some of the standard shapes here, but if you have a custom shape, you can do it. We do arches, same thing, traditional shape. I just want to remind you this, and this is part of our catalog where you do see the different standard sizes, 10 by 8, 20 by 13, and so on. So you'll see those sizes being available in our catalog, but if you have a custom size, we can do that. These are the continuous air arches, and we can also make contained air arches. So we can do either or, and you see the different sizes as well. Special project. That's one thing I just want to talk about. You know that we've been through COVID. During COVID, a lot of the needs lean towards like medical tents. And I just want to remind you, I know I hope we're moving out of that, but medical tent is still something that is in need as we speak. It could be for stock thing, but medical tent, if you work with some county, if you work with cities, hospitals, they might need medical tent. We do pop-up tent, regular pop-up tent, but we also do inflatable medical tent. So it falls in that category of inflatable products. So just as a reminder, we do medical tent. This one was made, and it was a very specific one with HVAC, HEPA unit built in, separate rooms. We can do that, okay? So you do see one of the projects that was done here. Another special project, there's also in the medical tent, there's also something that's called like decontamination. So I just wanted you to remember these keywords like medical or decontamination tents. You may have some government agencies asking you for this type of product, and we can help you with that. They're sometimes blue, white, so they usually plain colors with very simple logos and branding on it. But this is the kind of things where we can help you guys with, and these are inflatable tents. Another concept that can sometimes happen, and this one was, it was not too much for, I would say, for branding, but the distributor pretty much came up to us and said, hey, I saw those type of tents. I think that's what my client wants. These are screenshots from his phone, that stuff he found on Alibaba, and he said, well, this is what I would like to do. Here's my client's logo. And this was for an indoor golf experience, okay? Or a inflatable golf indoor experience. So he's traveling around the country with this golf tunnel, and he's giving you like a golf experience inside. So from the images that was provided, we created this 3D mockup. Again, this is what takes time, and this is where we can help you. So we don't want you to be discouraged by, oh, how am I going to start this? Am I going to be able to show him something that looks good? We will do that hard work for you. We put the texture on it, we validate the concept with the client, and once that's done, we deliver the product. And this is the image of the actual product. So the client was extremely happy with that. And now they're traveling around the country and giving you like some golf lessons. So check their website if you need to, and I'm sure you'll see them maybe one day on the road, but I think it's a pretty cool concept. Some of the FAQs we're going to cover right now is, and these are the most common asked questions, is how to secure your inflatable and how do I fix it if there's a puncture. So securing inflatable is important, especially if you're using it outside. So it's the same as any display. We do provide like tie downs and ropes to secure them with stakes. So you have to use those. It's important that your inflatable is not blowing away somewhere and it's not not damaging your display. You're not damaging somebody else's display. So securing your tent or securing your inflatable is crucial, and you have to use those stakes and ropes that are provided with it. The inflatables, you don't see them on the mock-up, but there's a lot of, I would say, D-rings and anchoring points. So D-rings are usually placed on the leg of the inflatable or at the bottom of the inflatables. And there's also some anchoring tether straps or little like tabs where you can attach ropes and secure inflatable. So you want to use those and tie it down properly. The next common question is, hey, how do I fix it if I have a puncture? Why? Because we're talking about inflatables. How do I fix? So again, we do have some repair kits. So we have some special kits for that are available. And if it's a major damage to inflatable, we can always have it here back in our warehouse, take a look at it, repair it, fix it, and send it back to you. We will assess whether or not, it's a manufacturing defect, because it can happen, and we do have a 1-year warranty for that, or is it something that, it's just an accident happened, and we'll fix it and we'll give you an estimate for it. Like I said, there's a 1-year warranty from any manufacturing defect. So that should be the peace of mind for any of those products. But we do not cover what's any damage that's caused by improper setup or accident. It is only the manufacturing defects that are being covered. Let's talk a little bit about marketing now, and I know you guys now understand I would say the products. You understand that we can support you with creating mock-ups and design, but we also want to tell you that we can support you with marketing and how to promote the product, and it's very important.
Yeah, so now that you're a pro and you're confident and ready to close some deals, how do you get those leads? Well, Instant definitely wants to help. So a few tools that we offer are obviously our email blast, our distributor website, non-branded brochures, and also social media content. So what's great is we have specials monthly. We have like these really great friendly email blasts that you can download off of our distributor portal. And you can easily access that right under resources. If you don't have access to our distributor portal, please do reach out and we'll be happy to get you set up.
Yeah, super important. We create these to, I would say, make your work easier in terms of like, how can I promote this project or this product in front of my audience? So feel free to reach out, take them. They're 100% customer safe. So you can just take them as is and then send it through your preferred like email channel.
Okay, I think let's go to the next one here. Okay, so with another tool that is going to make your workday a lot easier is our unbranded brochures. Again, you can access these right under our resources link. A few tips for you. You can embed them on your website, email them to your customers, link them to your email campaigns and ads, social media platforms, landing pages. I mean, anywhere that allows you to. Again, they're all customer friendly and they're advertised with our retail pricing and everything's coded on a scene.
Yep. And the slide before, I know maybe I changed that one, but the slide before is the one that's promoting the website. So we do have that distributor portal that Van is talking to you about. So it's a shop.instant.com. Remember that. Sign up on that link if you haven't done it yet. But that's where you're going to get all those resources. So it's very important for you to sign up there because then we can, engage with you. You can engage with us. You'll see a lot of things there and a lot of tools to promote the product.
Yes, also you get access to all of our net pricing, shipping costs. It gives you the opportunity to place orders right online and connect with a graphic designer that provides free mock-ups instantly. And this is a great time to sign up. In the next couple of weeks, we're really excited to launch our new distributor portal. There's going to be some amazing fun features just to make the shopping experience a lot easier for you. So we're really excited to launch that soon.
So going back to that slide, we looked at this. There's one more big thing, right? Social media. I think it's the big trend today.
Yes, so we know that social media is effective and it's really powerful to get your products out there and get leads. So here are some helpful tips that we want to share with you, some ideas. You can do seasonal posts, post discounts and coupons, advertise most popular products. A lot of times customers, they're not sure, there's just too many choices and they kind of need that guidance from you. So most popular products is a great idea. You can use publisher platforms to schedule on multiple social media platforms such as HubSpot and Buffer as well.
All right, thank you, Van. So this is the last slide. That's the thank you slide. That's I want to say it's my favorite slide because it has a very simple thank you inflatable message. So I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. We'll be happy to answer some questions now. Aubrey, if you want to, I don't know if you want to pull up the chat or if you want to guide us through how, for us to answer some of the questions if there's any.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Thank you guys so much. There are a couple questions so far. If anybody else has any questions, please go ahead and start typing them. Please go ahead and start typing them in, and then I can get to them as we run through these.
Let me see here if I can. I'll look it up here. So you'll see the presentation. Okay.
So what? Let me see here.
Chat. Let me see.
What was the price to your client of the habitat?
Questions? Okay. So let me see here. I want to be able to answer that. Okay, so you should still be able to hear me, but I'm going to go to the chat here and see those questions. I'm not showing my screen anymore, but let me go back to it here. So at least you see this part of the screen, so you don't have a blank screen. And let me go on the questions if I can please here. So price, one of the question was the price on the Habitat house. Very good question. So pricing, same thing. We'll share some. So there's, I think it's a good question about price in general. So the question on price is, I mean, there's some simple shapes and complex shape. So we do share some pricing, and we'll give you some content, and we'll send that over for traditional shape inflatable, like a can, a bottle. We'll give you those pricing. When you have complex shape, like the inflatable Habitat house, a project like this with about $3,200 just to give you an idea. Next question is, do you rent generic arches that can have Velcro graphics attached? We do not rent. We only manufacture and sell new products. So we unfortunately do not rent that. But if it's something where you feel you have some business or interest, I mean, I would say why don't you buy a blank arch, like a black arch on your own, and then eventually, you order those custom banners as you go. That could be, if you see some potential here, yeah, why not? It's possible. Is there a minimum size needed to create an inflatable? So very good question. That's actually, remember in that slide where I was showing you what we don't do, what we do. When it's the mini inflatables, let's say you want to do like a 1 foot or 2 foot inflatable, this is a sign for us that this is not for us. We cannot put like an internal blower or external blower into like a mini inflatable. However, anything I would say that is above 4 feet, let's say like a cube, like a 4x4x4, we'll be happy to take it. We'll be happy to look at it and probably make it. So anything above 4 feet is acceptable for us to do. Are all these products produced overseas? No, they're not. We use different factories. So we have some in the US, we have some in Mexico, and for some large volume, we sometimes partner with China as well, because we have campaign where we've done hundreds of those for events, and our production capacity doesn't allow us, but most of them are done in the US or Mexico. Do you help install inflatables, or are we in charge of that task? So we do not install inflatables, and you will, or your client will be in charge of the install. It is, again, extremely easy to set up. So yeah, that's a no-brainer. You just plug it in, or you just use the pump, blow it, and then use the stakes or secure it with some weights if you can't stake it. So if you can't stake your inflatable, all you got to do is to use some, we have some rubber weights plate or some base plate, metal plates, and connect those to those D-rings that are at the bottom of the inflatable, and it will be secure. Once the design is rendered with you guys, can they reorder the same thing easily, or will we have to design again? You don't have to go through a redesign. If one concept has been approved, we keep all the production file, we keep all the specs, and all you have to do is give us a call and say, hey, Matthew, I want to redo this project. Okay, good for us. We just redo it, and there's no more approval. You'll get a sales order, you'll confirm it, payment link, you pay for it, and within a few weeks or so, you'll get it. Which actually, I don't know if that question was asked, but I can add this. Most of the inflatable takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get done. And I'm talking for one. So of course, if you have large volume, we'll have to discuss more timing, but most of those are done within 2 to 3 weeks time after approval. Another question here. On the tower, is there, I guess, is there a wind rating or engineering? No, there's not. None of the product here are wind rated or engineered, which means that you cannot leave those products untended. You cannot overnight leave. I mean, if you know where you're gonna go through weather conditions, you're gonna have heavy wind, it's not possible. So we always recommend to take it down, and then the following day you just reinflate it. It's just a few minutes, but do not leave those unattended. On the positive side with those it is just an inflatable product, so there's not much to I would say damage. I would say even if your inflatable flies away, you may damage your inflatable, but you're not going to damage too much somebody else belongings. It could be more complex with the traditional tent because the tent is made with metals, so all those metal parts can fly away and can cause severe damage to other people's properties. So you got to be careful with that with regular tents. Another question was just thanks. That's good. It's not a question, it's a comment, but I'll take it. So thank you for saying thanks. Another question here. We're working with a medium-sized health and wellness company and wanted to know if your company can assist in putting together a small catalog with their logo on various items so we can show them the possibilities. I love that question. I love it. Why? Because yes, we do that all the time. It's a little out of the presentation, I would say, because it's not only related to inflatable, but we do what's called programs. So we help all our distributors with programs. So when you have a good client and you want to show the potential of what you and we can offer, we will create a program, a specific brochure where we will show pretty much all the products we can offer with their logo on it. And it's an amazing tool to promote. It's when you go there, it's very professional, and you show them you've done like the extra mile. You've worked hard to earn their business, so we want to work hard for you guys to seduce them with a nice catalog. So we'll definitely help you with this. Reach out to Van or any of our sales here. We'll do we call those like special programs. So ask for those. Thank you. What is a typical turnaround? I know it won't be too easy to answer, just a general idea. So thank you for asking. But like I said, 2 to 3 weeks usually for up to 5 of those. Anything above 5 will maybe need a bit more time, or if you know that it's a very complex shape, we'll have to assess, but we'll let you know. Where can I find prices for stock arches? So these are literature so two things on the shop.instant.com. You can find some pricing information. As Van mentioned, this website is being updated as we speak. So you'll see some pricing on that in a very short time, but we can also share some PDF and brochures about inflatables later on, and Aubrey will be happy to relay that to you guys. Thanks for explaining my question. It's called the program. Yes, great. We have purchased from you before. How do I confirm we are on the distributor pool? How do we confirm? Oh, if you are on the distributor portal, you should have received like login and password before. I'm not too sure how to answer this question, but I would say just maybe reach out to us and we can verify your credentials. If you have them, we'll be happy to resend them. Even if you have not, then we'll definitely create. If you have not, we can create that for you. So not a problem. All right, I think we've covered all the questions, which is good. We've covered the entire presentation. It is 11:15. You guys can enjoy coffee, or at least we will. Thank you for your attention. Please reach out to us. Again, we want to help you with this exciting product. It's something inflatable that is a big trend. Your clients are always looking for new things. And trust me, having a good looking inflatable is something good, because why do people want to do these days? They want to look good, they want to have something fun, and they also want to attract people. And these people, what are they looking for? They want some form of re-engagement. So when you have an inflatable product on your booth, people are going to take photo of it. They're going to take photos of themselves with inflatable behind them. So they're going to re-engage, they're going to repost those photos on their social media, which create a lot of impressions. And that's how brand awareness and product awareness is built. And then your clients are 100% winners when that happens. So make sure you offer that as a very good option. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. Aubrey, are you back?
I'm here. I think you have your volume turned down, but everyone, thank you so much for your time today. Okay. And I appreciate.
I guess that concludes our presentation today, and we're wishing you a happy, what are we today? Thursday.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.